Nationality principle. This principle says that every state has jurisdiction over its nationals even when those nationals are outside the state. This doctrine is illustrated in the case of Blackmer versus United States. The issue in this case is whether or not the United States acquires jurisdiction over the petitioner even if he is a resident of France. The court held that while it appears that the petitioner removed his residence to France, it is undisputed that he was and continued to be a citizen of the U.S. He continued to owe allegiance to the U.S. by virtue of the obligation of citizenship. The U.S. retained its authority over him, and he was bound by its laws made applicable to him in a foreign country. Thus, although resident abroad, the petitioner remained subject to the punishment in the courts of the United States. Effective nationality link. This doctrine is used to determine which of two states of which person is a national will be recognized as having the right to give diplomatic protection to the holder of the dual nationality. This doctrine is illustrated in the case of Liechtenstein versus Guatemala. In this case, Liechtenstein claimed restitution and compensation from the government of Guatemala on the ground that the latter had acted towards Friedrich Nottebohm, a citizen of Liechtenstein, in a manner contrary to international law. The issue here is whether or not Liechtenstein's claim was inadmissible on grounds relating to Mr. Nottebohm's nationality. The court held that Liechtenstein's claim was inadmissible on grounds relating to Mr. Nottebohm's nationality. It was the bond of nationality between a state and an individual which alone conferred upon the state the right to put forward an international claim on his behalf. Mr. Nottebohm's nationality was not based on any genuine prior link with Liechtenstein, and the sole object of his naturalization was to enable him to acquire the status of neutral national in time of war. For these reasons, Liechtenstein was not entitled to take up his case and put forward an international claim on his behalf against Guatemala. Who are those stateless persons? Stateless persons are those who do not have a nationality. They are either de jure or de facto. De jure stateless persons are those who have lost their nationality, while de facto stateless persons are those who have a nationality but to whom protection is denied by their state when out of the state. In the case of Medjob versus Director of Prisons, the issue here is whether or not Medjob, a stateless person who has been arrested as Japanese spy by the U.S. Armed Forces and thereafter detained for a long time by the Commonwealth government due to his alleged illegal entry into the Philippines, have the right to be protected against violation of human rights. The court held that the protection against deprivation of liberty without due process of law and except for crimes committed against the laws of the land is not limited to Philippine citizens, but extends to all residents except enemy aliens regardless of nationality. The court also added that the petitioner's entry into the Philippines was indeed not unlawful. He was brought by the armed forces of the de facto government whose decrees were law during the occupation.